Set. Of course, all the papers reacting to that election in Italy, aren't they?
That's right. And the big theme today is how Europe is reacting to that election in Italy. We'll start by looking at the front page of Les Echos, the business daily, that says that Italy has revived the specter of a crisis in Europe. And it points out that markets across Europe took a tumble yesterday. It's also on the front page of La Croix today, the Christian newspaper that talks about a crisis in Italy and malaise in Europe. In their editorial, they talk about what they call an Italian-style earthquake that has ripple effects beyond its borders. And the result sends actually two messages. On the one hand, it sends a message to Italian politicians. Basically, Italian voters are showing that they don't trust their political class. They see their political class as being corrupt and incapable of running the country. La Croix also points out that the second message is being sent to the European Union, especially Angela Merkel, the German chancellor, and her austerity policies.
And even if his party came in third, Beppe Grillo, seen by the French media anyway, a lot of the other media as well, but as the big winner of this election, he's on the front page of Le Figaro.
He is on the front page of Le Figaro. There's a photo of him addressing a crowd. And Le Figaro says on their front page, an ungovernable Italy throws Europe into a panic. And in their editorial, they say you can mock Italians and for this kind of absurd outcome in the election and the rise of populist parties like Beppe Grillo's party. But you'd be wrong to ignore the message and the warning that's in this election. Basically, this election shows that, once again, Italians have rejected their political class, and all this because of their unpopular austerity measures, once again. Libération, meanwhile, the left-leaning newspaper, says that actually the European Union is also partially responsible for the outcome of this election. Since the beginning of the crisis, the only solution that's being put forward by the EU is never-ending austerity measures without concrete results. So Libé says this rise of populist candidates is actually a warning to Brussels, and a message also that there's this exasperation against austerity.
And Libération is also focusing on how the French President François Hollande, how he's reacting to this result.
That's right. Libé says that the Élysées' hopes have come crashing down, points out that François Hollande was really hoping that Pierluigi Bersani would have a clear victory. It says that France feels somewhat isolated in a very conservative Europe, and it was hoping that there could be another counterbalance on the left here, a boost rather. But he says that there won't be this counterbalance to Angela Merkel. Instead of having a supporter, Italy has become an impotent partner, according to Libération.
Now, also, of course, yesterday we had that terrible balloon accident in Egypt, and the French papers are talking about that as well, aren't they?
That's right. This is an article in Le Figaro because two French citizens died in that accident. And the article points out that this is actually one of several catastrophes in recent months due to a lack of maintenance and infrastructure. Le Figaro says that the whole country seems to be falling apart, and a lot of this has to do with the fact that Egypt is experiencing a very severe economic crisis right now, and so the government actually can't pay for a lot of the maintenance. And Le Figaro points out that unfortunately this could very much tarnish the image of Egypt's tourist industry, which has been suffering since the revolution in 2011.
And the French family kidnapped in Cameroon last week, they're also back in the papers today.
That's right. Aujourd'hui en France points out that there was a video that was put on YouTube on Monday, which allegedly shows the family with their captors. And Aujourd'hui en France says that French intelligence is picking this video apart to gather useful information. And if we take a closer look at that photo, you can see exactly what they're trying to figure out. For instance, they're looking at just what the captors are wearing, what arms they have to figure out where they're from. They're looking at their surroundings to try to figure out where they are. And also they're looking at, for instance, the beards of the kidnapped men to try to figure out exactly when the video was filmed.
And finally, a book about the former IMF chief. This has been in our news today, hasn't it? Dominique Strauss-Kahn, set to be published today. He's lost a court battle. He was trying to stop it, wasn't he?
That's right. The book is called Belle et Bête, which could be beautiful and stupid, but it's also La Belle et la Bête, which is Beauty and the Beast. Now, it's a steamy kiss and tell story by Marcella Iacoub, so a woman that Dominique Strauss-Kahn allegedly had an affair with in 2012. Now, this article in Libération points out that editors have bet a lot of money on this book. They've already printed 18,000 copies, with an additional 15,000 to come. So Dominique Strauss-Kahn lost the legal battle to have it banned, but there will be a disclaimer inside the book, and the publisher had to pay 50,000 euros in damages to Dominique Strauss-Kahn. You can't help but wonder, though, maybe this whole trial actually will help boost sales rather than
I think it probably
anything.
will, actually. There's a very good point. A steamy Florence VILLEMINOT here on France 24. Thanks a lot. Let's bring you the latest news headlines here on France 24 then, and the